What up everyone, it's TyranitarTube and Koro has freaking leaked. You've seen one scan? Well, there's 6 scans now. 6 freaking things to look at. This was like a giant stamp of an issue. It goes over everything, reveals a bunch of things. You know what it's gonna reveal, but we're gonna take it one at a time. So before I begin, let me go over everything. Yesterday, one scan came out revealing a Alolan Grimer. That was just a portion of this scan. So here you guys can take a look at the full one. You can see a Alolan Grimer in the corner. Look at that. You can see a gameplay picture of Grimer right there. When it comes to Grimer, they say that it turned into its Alolan form after eating just the trash and garbage in Alola, which is weird. You're a poison type Pokemon, you eat garbage, you turn dark. Or he's a poison type and he like chills in the sewers and he turned dark. I don't know why Grimer is a poison dark type, but it's interesting to note that the types that they're giving to these Pokemon, because think about it, Alolan Pokemon are all Kanto Pokemon, and the types that they're giving to it are interesting types. Dark, Dragon, Steel, they're all types that were barely used in Gen 1. In fact, not used in Gen 1. Only Dragon was used in 1, because Dark and Steel only came out with Gold and Silver. So now that I see that, it makes more sense why they made Grimer a Poison Dark type instead of just making it like pure fire. Because there's some cool designs out there. There's like a Lava Grimer, there's freaking Suna, the Desert Grimer, but we got just like a super poisoned out Grimer. The rest of the scan just takes you through more images. So you're fighting an Alolan Meowth here, you're picking your starter here, there's a Tapu Koko scene here. And look, it's the freaking... These are the guys. Do you remember the flashed out box arts? These are the guys responsible. These guys are gonna take a picture of Marshadow and flash it out. The last thing worth noting on this page is this girl down here. Her name is Ilmia. She's actually a trial captain. You guys know 4 of them. You got Lana, Milo, Sophocles, and Kiawe. And she's actually the first trial captain that comes before all of these guys. I don't know what type she's gonna use or anything, but if there's one thing, Lurantis looks like it fit her really well. I can see it as her like signature Pokemon. Yeah, that makes sense. A fairy type trial captain though, that's overkill, man. No one's even got dragons. Moving on to the second scan, this is about the anime, the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime, where Ash is a student, he's freaking learning with all these trial captains, and they freaking reveal Okegutor. It's like Ash Greninja, but you fuse with an Exeggutor. That is horrifying. I don't want to crack the shell to see you under. But yeah, guys, Oak is there because he's the headmaster of the school, or the principal. He's the grand freaking owner of the school. He does everything. He runs everything. You'll be in class, he just walks through looking like that, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna need you to come to the office. What a chill principal, man. I want him in my school. We can see a few more things, like Turnators with the fire trial captain. You got Togedemaru chilling with Pikachu. Get the hell away from him. But yeah, throughout this anime, I guess Sophocles and his Togedemaru supposed to rival Ash and his Pikachu, which we're just not gonna talk about. Scan number 3. The starter evolutions. It's so weird to see them in magazines. This is how we should have seen them first, and then we should have seen the gameplay. But here they properly explain it. Your grass flying Rowlet evolves into this arrow shooting guy. Look at him. He still shoots arrows for a living. Your Litten grows a bit bigger and he gets a little collar that's gonna be on his belt soon. And Popplio just gets beautiful. Man, Popplio's evolution grew onto me so much, but I still haven't gotten used to Rowlets. What the hell do I got against you? I think you all know what's gonna happen to these starter Pokemon. The leaks were confirmed real that these guys do evolve into those big ones. So we're gonna wait till gameplay is revealed on that one. But we've talked about the starters. We know everything about these guys. So let's move on to the first important scan. Here we go. So it starts off, you got Eevee showing off its Z move, as well as Pikachu showing off its Z move. I don't know if they mentioned this anywhere, but I don't think every Pokemon can get a Z move. I think there's exclusive Pokemon if you're not fully evolved. So Eevee and Pikachu are some of those Pokemon. And then there's even more exclusive Pokemon that get specific Z moves. Like you got Raichu with its stoked Spark Surfer or whatever. You got freaking Snorlax with its pulverizing pancakes. Now look, it's the fly. Look what you did to your Z-Ring. I knew you screwed up somewhere. See, look at him. He's got a flashed up Z-Ring. This is that Z-Ring accessory that when you wear, it like lights up when you're Z-evolving. Look at this. He's getting a connection. He's using a move and it's getting a signal. What a work of art. I need that. But under it is the true freaking news. So Jangmo-o is a dragon type Pokemon. It's got this heart-shaped thing on its head, and it actually shows its 2 evolutions in the scan. I don't know why. They completely show you its evolution chain. So it starts off as Jangmo-o, and it evolves into this thing, gaining the fighting type, and it's known as Jararanga. So it's a dragon fighting type Pokemon. This is actually a really good looking evolution, and I would not expect it to further evolve actually, but it does. It evolves again into Jararanga, and this thing is also a dragon fighting type, but this thing is a giant beast. It's way too odd that this thing is just shoved into the corner of this magazine. I want to see gameplay on it. I want to see it move around because this Pokemon is gonna look so badass in game. When you think back to Jangmo-o learning moves like Headbutt and Dragon Tail, it makes sense. Look at that tail develop, and look at that like physical body develop. This thing is gonna be a monstrous physical attacker, which is pretty much what all pseudo legendaries have been. There's no confirmation, and for all we know, there could be multiple pseudo legendaries. In Hoenn there's two, there's Metagross and Salamence, but here this thing's really looking like he could be the one, which would suck because that means this guy's gonna be a lot harder to get. But at the same time, I almost feel like this guy won't be the pseudo legendary. By the way guys, if you're wondering, those were their Japanese names, and for Jangmo-o, its Japanese name is Jarako, so it'd be like Jarako, Jarango, Jararanga, but out of the English names, the only one we know is Jangmo-o. So when we do see the gameplay, we're gonna see its English names in the trailer, which could literally be like tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, on this thing being a pseudo legendary, it could be, it makes sense if it was, but on the other end, why would they show us the entire thing right here and now? It really doesn't make sense. And if you think about all the other potentials for a pseudo, like a fairy type pseudo or something, it makes sense that this thing could just very well be a random dragon type Pokemon that you find like midway through the game. I just can't see it. I can't see Pokemon revealing an entire pseudo line just casually in the corner of a magazine. But that brings us to the final scan. This thing, Type Null Unmasked. You see this thing standing in front of you? This thing is Type Null. You'll understand in a second. Let me take you to the corner here. So here it shows it right here. Type Null evolves into this thing. But you know, if you look at it a bit longer, you start to realize that these two are the exact same Pokemon. One just has a mask, one just got rid of their mask. So this evolution is caused when Type Null destroys its mask. It's insane because the Pokemon underneath has like a freaking talon over here, a freaking mechanical arm over here. It's this artificial synthetic Pokemon made up of a bunch of other things. So it goes like this. Type Null, what Pokemon it is, we don't know. But when Type Null is taken in by a trainer and it starts to find trust in that trainer, it'll show its true form. So it'll destroy its mask and evolve into Sylvadi. And this is done because that mask actually holds back its power. So when you see this thing come out, this thing is scary. This thing has the power of a legendary Pokemon, and don't forget it, because if you look at it, it reminds you instantly of Solgaleo and Lunala. I don't know why. I don't know if this thing could very well be the centerpiece or something, but one thing's for sure, it's a makeup of a bunch of different things. So if you look in the corner here, you see 3 different screenshots of Type Null's evolution, and these are actually 3 different versions of it in battle. What I mean is, I told you guys in the last video that Sylvadi, which is what I'm going to call it, has this ability known as anti-arceusism, which changes its type depending on what item is held. So in battle, its visual appearance actually changes. This is the grass one, this is the fire one, and this is the water one, though you can't really see the difference. In the rest of these screenshots, it's using a new move called multi-attack, which, like you would think, based off what item it's holding, blasts a type-based attack. So yeah, now we can take a step back and look at this thing. This thing is an anti-Arceus. I don't know if this thing was made based off Arceus or if this thing was made to destroy Arceus or something, but this thing for sure, when they said that this thing was needed to rival a certain mythological Pokemon's power, that thing either had to be Arceus or just Solgaleo and Lunala, but I'm thinking it's Arceus. One thing I want to give attention to is this thing on its freaking cheek. You can see it's emitting a certain kind of energy. They actually talk about it here in the bottom. If you look at the bottom, it's actually linked to something Gladian is holding, and what he's holding are actually 3 cards, or they look like cards, but they seem like 3 like disc attachments that change this thing's type. So they're pretty much showing us that Gladian has 3 of the items that can change this thing between grass, fire, and water, and I think they're hinting that this guy's gonna awaken its true potential and have it transform by ripping its mask. I know it's weird, but it is actually the evolution. It's not a form change. When you rip its mask, it does actually evolve. So one thing we for sure have to talk about is the fact that there's a different approach to this. In the corner, they show that Type Null evolves into this thing. You could say that this thing has to destroy its mask, find trust in the trainer, and then it can evolve. But on the other end, what if this thing is the original Pokemon and it was actually restricted into Type Null? Because if you think about it, Type Null is not a name. That is nothing. It's just this restricted form of a Pokemon that just wanders around, and then it finds trust in a trainer and can regain its true form. It reminds you a lot of Mewtwo. Think about the Mewtwo suit. That suit restricted Mewtwo and made him weaker. Except in this thing's case, it doesn't even look controllable. It's not like they gave it this restrictive mask to control it. They just sealed it and let it wander away. And for that reason, this thing starts to make me think that it could be related to Solgaleo and Lunala more than Arceus. But that's the question right now. Is this thing related to something as grand as Arceus? Or is this thing giving you the same vibe as Solgaleo and Lunala? But anyways guys, that was everything in Korokoro. Now while we are hoping for gameplay over the next few days, we're pretty much gonna get gameplay on the 16th, where the Pokenchi stream is gonna be. Either gameplay is gonna come over the next few days, and then they're gonna show something else on Pokenchi, or everything's just gonna be on that stream. If it is airing on Pokenchi, it's actually gonna be like at nighttime, not at like 6 a.m. in the morning. 8 a.m. JST is like 7 p.m. EST and like 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is good. You know, you can come home from school, watch a good stream. I mean, it's Sunday, god damn it. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about Type Null. How does this thing's evolution work? The main thing I want you guys to let me know is whether Type Null's evolution is closer to Arceus or closer to Solgaleo and Lunala, and what theory you have on it. Because when you look at it, it instantly does give you the vibes of Solgaleo and Lunala, so it's really got me confused. Like, if you told me there's like a 5th Tapu Pokemon that ruled them all, I could believe it. You look like you could have been like the leader of the Tapus, even though you're on all fours. There's just a certain vibe you get from this thing. I have absolutely no idea, especially since we have no gameplay yet. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. So be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and as always, guys, keep playing, keep laughing, and keep believing. See you in the next video. Peace.